Sisters.
Santa love in magic.
sing I'll Never Leave You Anymore.
Let's bow down our heads. Our most loving Heavenly Parents, good morning. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to be able to gather around as brothers and sisters. We thank you for the beautiful weather that we experience in this winter time. Please open our hearts and our minds, or we are willing to open our hearts and minds today as we welcome you and your guidance through our Pastor Naokimi, who will be giving us a sermon regarding on our relationship as husband and wife. Thank you for always guiding us. We know we have received this beautiful teaching from you. Thank you for being born in this time where we can attend you as our Heavenly Parents. Please continue to be with us. Bless each one of us and our families, especially who are not here. We pray that we could be able to unite with each other. And we are going to reach out also to other families. Please be with us and help us, Heavenly Parents, to really embody you, because we need you. Without you, we cannot live according to your will. So help us, Heavenly Parents. Continue to embrace us even if we are not that lovable person. Just be with us. We need you in our difficult times. Help us to rise up again whenever we are fallen, because there's no other way that we can continue this life but to be with you. Help us not to live in that life that is not according to your will. That is why we would like to invite you all the time in our lives. Just be with us. Sometimes we are not worthy of you, but you always give us the chance to rise up again. So, dear Heavenly Parents, we are thanking you for this beautiful moment that you've gathered us. Thank you for your love for us, unconditional love for us. May we could be able to give the same love to each and every one of us as your children. Bless the whole Sunday service today, that we can receive the food for our soul. Thank you. We offer to you these prayers with all our hearts and gratitude. In the name of all our names as Blessed Central Family, Achu, Achu, Achu. Thank you.
Thank you, band, for such a beautiful performance. Can we give them another round of applause, please? All right. Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday service. I'll be your MC again. It's nice to see everyone here. So, first, I'd like to give thanks to our Essex volunteers for this week. They've been working very hard, so please give them a round of applause. Yeah, now we'd like to go into our meet and greet. So turn to your neighbor, you know the drill. Look behind you, in front of you. Let's greet each other this morning. Okay, well, I'm just looking at the time. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's settle down. I know it's so nice to see everyone after a long time. I see so many faces here I didn't think I would see today. Okay, now we actually have a special announcement of Blessing 2024, which is interesting and exciting, and I'd like to welcome up Miss Anne-Marie to share details on that. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Before we do that, we cannot forget about our children. So, I'd like to dismiss all Sunday school children for Sunday school. And the locations are on the screen. Yes. So first, pre-K can go to the Tulip Room. First grade to second grade, Lilac. Third and fourth grade, Daffodil. And fifth and sixth to the Carnation Conference Room. And seventh and eighth grade to the Youth Center. Okay, I think that's most children. So, now we'll move on to the special announcement of Blessing 2024. Please welcome up Anne-Marie. Where's Anne-Marie?
Good morning, everyone. Some of you may have heard already through the rumor mills that usually works very well. But now it's the official announcement. We have received it from Korea. There will be a marriage blessing in 2024, and the date will be February the 17th. There will also be another one in 2025, which is, we don't have a date for this one. It will be an extraordinary huge event because it will be connected with other events happening at that time too. However, some couple may have already been talking for a long time and for several other reasons may not want to be able to participate to the 2025 and would prefer to participate to the 2024. And so they are welcome to connect with us so that we can guide you in that respect. The people to connect with are Yana Johnson, Christine Bronkhurst, Yoshiko Deloye, and I are the four people who will be the most knowledgeable at this point about what's going to happen for the February 2024 blessing. So that's also anytime after Sunday services, every Sunday I'm here and most of everyone else is here too, so it's easy to connect with us, okay? And you can always reach us by email as well. That is it.
Thank you. Wow, that's very exciting. So we have a few testimonies prepared on this topic of today, which we will find out. So I'd like to first welcome up Mrs. Satsuki Jimbo for our testimony. Yes, thank you. Please welcome her up.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone. Yeah. Thank you. ちょっと緊張しますけど Okay. I'm gonna testimony about the 7 days workshop. Maybe already you heard as Zoom. But anyway, so I attended the workshop from November 12th to 18th, and the trip from 18th to 20. So when I joined the 3 days workshop, reverse workshop in New Jersey, I felt I got closer to True Mother. So I didn't think I needed to go the 7 days workshop. Then one day I asked my Kodan leader, Noriko-san, how different 3 days workshop and 7 days workshop. And she said, 7 days is so good to learn in systematic, but I couldn't imagine how systematic. But she said it is good. So, okay, so I'm gonna follow her. Then I decided to go. Then if I go there, I better to make my goal. Then I started to think, then my goal improve my relationship with my children and my husband and to other people around me. And also, I wanted to resolve my questions. When I attended the 3 days workshop, I had some questions. And also, before, True Father's words, somebody explained. But I never heard True Mother's, somebody explain True Mother's words. So I wanted to clear. Then, as I studied Dr. Cambash's lecture on True Parent Theology, I was so moved. I was explained by the divine principle or other True Father's word. So I became so clear about the Heavenly Parents' value, True Parents' value, True Father's value, True Mother's value, and also relationship with Heavenly Parents and True Parents relationship, and then True Parents and my relationship, and Heavenly Parents and my relationship. That became clear. So I was surprised that everything is different if I change my point of view from different directions. Like before, divine principle, I was I see like this directly, but this True Parents theologies look from here. So if I see from here, I could see more clearly. Then on the third day, when I started to pray in Chonshinwon, usually I pray just lightly, thank you, Heavenly Parents, thank you, True Mother, Father, like that. But that time, when I started pray, it's from the bottom of my heart. Really, thank you, Heavenly Parents. I'm so sorry. I didn't understand. Please forgive me. Like that. It's not only Heavenly Parents and each like a Heavenly Parents, True Parents, and Demonim, Hunjinim, Hyojinim, like that. So next day in the morning Hundokhe, we read the True Mother's memoir preface. That time I felt True Mother's all intention is included in the preface. Before I just skip, but that time when I read, really, my heart was moved. Then also, through that time, I really could understand it's not only knowledge. From heart, I could understand through Mother's words and also through Father's words too. So then during the lecture, Reverend Chong said, when you go back to home, you will see your kids and husband are very lovely. But I couldn't believe it. Because I don't know. I prayed, please, my daughter become more better to me, like that. And then I also, and then prayed for my, so the time to go back home. After arriving the airport, I had a chance to see my husband, but I didn't feel anything at that time because he was so busy. So it's not his attitude. Oh, my wife, come back. Not like that. So yeah. Well, anyway. So and then I went to work directly. Then after that, I stopped by Clifton Church here to pray in Chonshiwon. But when I park my car there, I found my car tires had a hole. And then immediately I could hear like that. And then, oh my God, what did I do? I did any wrong like that? My face was wrong like that. Then I called my husband. Then he said he's coming to fix my tire. But I was so struggled because he's so short temper. And then that time was windy, rainy, cold night. And then he had, so I thought it's better to call AAA. But anyway, my suggestion was call to my husband. So anyway, until my husband come here, I was praying in Chonshiwon. Then strongly, please, Heavenly Parents, he don't get mad, and change this tire smoothly, without getting mad. Then I was so surprised because he changed the tire by getting without any mud, and then even getting wet in the rain and cold. So that time I thought, oh, he also growing. But also it's not because of me. Because I changed something, not like that. He also trying, from before. So I was so like that. Just like that. And then after a few days of reflecting about it, I realized if I think that happened positively, maybe God showed me Satsuki. He is such a good husband, right? Because he didn't get mad because of you, Satsuki, like that. So I thought, really God wants to me something, how to say, more. Well, anyway. I became grateful to God and my husband. And to my children, I was too strict before. Do that, eat quickly, like that. And go bed quickly, like that. But I was, and then how is me now? And I surprised myself. Never get angry from my as my thought. なんていうんですか、自分の思い出ってなんていうんですかね。まあいいか。Anyway, so then also I realized my love towards my children was conditional. Then I'm practicing in Achieve. Also, I'm practicing in Achieve program. And in coaching session, I was told, even you are not enough, like you feel. But still, God loves you. I often heard these words before. But that time, every time, it's not to me. I know, I understand, but I need to go more, grow up like that. So, but this time I start to understand it, that word. And I can change my attitude to my children. Even they act badly against me, it doesn't affect me. And still I can try to love them now. Yeah. And then, 写真がないんだ. Yeah. And after, I don't know, I gave it. Oh, yeah? Oh, already? And then, how about the trip? Yeah. After that, I went to 3 days, 2 night tour. Yeah, I can say just Grand Canyon, but other place, ちょっと, to you, maybe every place is same, but I forgot the name. But this trip is just 500, and then you can go. Yeah, just 500. So to me, it was expensive. I didn't want to. But anyway, somebody said it was good. So yeah. I went there. So it's, really good to go. Even English speaker can go there, not only Japanese. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for your testimony. And now I'd like to welcome up Yasu Taka for his journey towards the first night. So it's a bit of a different topic. So yeah, let's listen with respectful and open hearts. So yeah, please welcome him up. Sorry.
Yes, you did not misheard her. The title is correct because Pastor Naokimi is really excited to hear the story. So that's why he asked me. I think a little bit of background. The understanding is today is the second week of talking about conjugal realm of heart. And so the topic is actually sexual integrity and intimacy. So I want to just share a little bit on between my wife and I, just leading up to where we, I guess, achieved that or experienced it. So break down all the barriers, sit down, feel comfortable, and we're all loving family members. All right. So actually, I'd like to first start. The first time I received the blessing with my wife last year in April 16th, 2022. So it's been about 1 year and 8 months now. And because she's from Japan and I'm here in America and she doesn't necessarily have like a green card or we haven't worked out other visas, the whole year and 8 months that we've been blessed, we've only really spent 4 months in total that we were together. And I want to talk about the first 2 weeks, or the second 2 weeks that we spent together in Japan in August of last year. Because after the blessing, I was making plans to visit her in the August of summer, even having to let go of BCSF. I was training all summer to be there, but I decided, my wife is more important. So we decided during that trip, we made a plan that we're going to consummate our blessing. And before going to Japan and actually leaving on the plane, for 40 days, I got reached out by High Noon. And we went through this book called The Core of the Universe. And it's actually really great and helpful for me because it was through true parents' words and focused topics that the book puts it by chapter, that I was able to truly understand what heavenly intimacy is and what God's idea and plan for a heavenly relationship is between a husband and wife. And so this book covers things like, there was even like a testimony of someone about like how their first night went or what it was like. So that was a great reference for me, going with that intention to Japan. There was also just understanding of really putting your spouse first before you try to pleasure yourself and just making sex all about yourself. So I felt like through that 40 days of just kind of doing reading of Father's words and also meeting up with a small group of other husbands, that I felt like I was really prepared internally and really setting the standard of what heavenly sex really is. And so then I fly to Japan, and actually as part of the book as well, there's a little segment where it talks about, Dr. Yong kind of introduced this, but there's like this parent ceremony, or like starting family ceremony. And that's what we actually replicated, because my wife's family is really close with the Young family. And so they were advised to do it, and so I complied. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's a great intention. And so it's more of a symbolic ceremony. It's nothing where like we're receiving the permission of our parents to start having sex or consummate our blessing, but it was more of just acknowledging that we as a couple, my wife and I, our parents acknowledged us that we are a couple, and that we are going to be starting this journey as a couple from now on. So in that moment, it's just like symbolic, like bows, bow to true parents, photo, bow to our parents, and just sharing like our future hopes and dreams, and just cut cake and woohoo. But I really, through that ceremony, I felt like supported by my own parents who joined by Zoom, but also by her parents who were physically there and watching over us. And so, of course, it's our journey between my wife and I, but it was like a seal that kind of gave me confirmation that, like, hey, our parents, like, from my parents' perspective, saying, don't worry, we're here for you. We're going to let you go off on your own to be able to grow in your relationship, but if you ever need us, we're here for you. So I really felt supported and, kind of loved by my parents and my parents' in-laws through that ceremony. And yeah, I feel like that this does tie in to heavenly intimacy and heavenly integrity, or sexual integrity, because now the plan of those 2 weeks for the summer was, now my wife, her background is very much like, she's never really associated with brothers. She went to an all-girls high school. And she also attended like a lot of blessing education that came from Japan, and also Dr. Yong directly when he hosted it in Thailand, and she would fly over to attend. So she was like very vertical, pure, like no touching boys, not even like really looking, even like kissing scenes and such. Like she would just like turn her head away, even at the age of like in her teenage years. And so, yeah, it was like when we were planning this 2 weeks, she said, okay, I cannot ever imagine us having sex in the same house that my parents are sleeping in. So the first 2 nights, we're gonna be reserving a hotel room, and that's where we're gonna consummate, and that's the only time that we're gonna have sex. And I was like, dang, 2 days out of the 14 days I'm gonna be in Japan? But I was like, okay, well, I'll just comply. Like, fine. It's the first 2 days, so maybe she'll change her mind. We'll see. I'll just go with it. And then the first evening came, and then we went to the hotel. We washed up, and now we're, kind of just getting into the mood. But then she's like, I can't do it. I'm too nervous. And I was like, what? And she was like, no, I just can't do it. And I was like, okay. And I was thinking like, okay, well, at least I have tomorrow night. And then I tried to strike a deal with her, being like, okay, I'll respect your wish tonight, but we're absolutely gonna do it tomorrow, okay? Like, that's cool, right? And she's like, okay, fine, that's fine. And so we went to bed. Well, I will correct myself. I went to bed. She couldn't sleep at all. Because the whole fact that she was like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that like we got that close, and like just thinking about tomorrow night and we're gonna consummate our blessing, like there's no way I can do that. So the next day rolls around and we're just walking around. The hotel was like in the heart of the city, so there's a lot of shopping malls. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's go shopping. Like, pick out what you want, and we'll buy that and all that stuff, and just going around. But she was just not having it because she was so tired. She couldn't even focus. We sat down at a cafe, and she was just like kind of falling asleep while I was ordering our drinks. And seeing that, I was really sympathizing for him, like, oh my gosh, she's so tired. And also at the same time worried, like, I don't know if our experience that evening is going to be good at all. But one thing that she told me before I came to Japan, actually, this was Mrs. Young's guidance to her, was when you have your first night, just let go of yourself and let your partner do all the work, basically. And so that's why, because I heard that, I had this expectation of like, wow, it's gonna be so great. Like, I'm just gonna, we're just gonna be able to have sex wonderfully. But then all of a sudden, as I was watching her being so tired during that cafe, Mrs. Young's voice came into me. And she said, and it was just let go, just surrender yourself. And then that, I knew immediately, like, oh shoot. What I have to do is actually, when it comes to the evening time, I need to ask her if she's willing to have sex. And if not, then I have to comply with what she says. And then I was going back and forth in my mind, like, no way. This is like the only 2 days I can have sex with her, or I plan to have sex with her throughout the 14 days, and then I'm gonna let this chance go? But then I was like, but Mrs. Young said. And actually, no, it's more than just Mrs. Young. I think Heavenly Parent was talking to me. And I made a determination right there. It was around 3 p.m. At the cafe, and I made that determination, and I didn't tell her then, but just in myself. And then so the evening rolled around, and so we went back to the hotel, we washed up, and then we were sitting next to each other in bed, and I just turned to her and I asked, hey, Seina, would you like to have sex, or would you like to sleep? I know you've been tired all day. She gave it a moment to think, and then she looked into me and said, yeah, actually, I'd like to go to bed now. And I was like, okay. And I just went to bed. She, on the other hand, she was like, what? Like, is he serious? And actually, I can fall asleep pretty fast. So in like 5 minutes, I fell asleep. And she was like, kind of like, are you awake? Are you awake? I was knocked out. And so, yeah, so then we came home or to her house, and then she, and then of course her family knows what's going on, or what was the intention. So then her mom and her older sister take her to one room, and I was just hanging out in the living room, and her father comes to me, and they're like, so how was the experience? And we all had our separate gender chats, and I actually was so shocked and surprised, because this is a Japanese man, like born and raised in Japan. He has no inkling of American in him, but he said, oh no, you have to consummate your blessing. Because after I explained to him, I'm like, whoa, what? You're telling me that I can have sex with your daughter? And he's like, no, yeah, that's so important. Because it's really the connection between Heavenly Parent in you and her coming together in one. And so that's like another aspect where I felt really supported. And yeah, I guess that was more of like a permission. Like, please, like, I give you my daughter. I offer you my daughter. And I felt like, all through these stories of just like preparing myself, reading Father and Mother's words on heavenly intimacy, and also just me being able to offer myself my own desire and letting her what she wants to feel. Because actually her reflection that night was, wow, I was so moved that you didn't like just force yourself onto me that second, even knowing that this might be the last chance that we were able to have this consummate our marriage in Japan. But she actually, through that, me giving up, she said that she was able to open up her heart and was able to receive me. And actually that evening, even though we were in the same house as the rest of her family members, we were able to consummate our blessing. And she felt really loved. And so, yes, sorry, Pastor Naokimi, way over time. But basically the things I want to leave with you is that, for me, connecting to Heavenly Parents' words, true parents' words, receiving that parental support outside of just between my wife and I, and for me to really honoring and to respect her desires and wishes, and me being patient, not letting my own physical desires take over, was the thing that prepared us, I felt, or at least myself, my side of the story, for this heavenly sexual integrity and intimacy that we were able to experience. And now this is just my side of the story, and Seina's a little message that she wants to share from her part is that, of course, that she was nervous and afraid, and that she has that kind of background, which is why she couldn't have the interaction during the hotel rooms first few days. But also, she said, after not understanding what I went through, and that we were able to actually fully commit to ourselves, even spiritually and physically, then she says she feels so much more closer to me in heart. And she's mentioning that earlier this year, I shared a sermon where we were just talking for once a week over the phone, because that's what her quota was, and she's like, I only want to talk once a week. Now, ever since she went back to Japan, because she was here over the summer for 3 months, she says that she has a heart where she doesn't want to let go of me and doesn't want to be separated, that we call every single day. And this is actually true. So, yeah. Thank you so much for the story. If you want more details, just email me or call me and I can share more. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasu, for bravely sharing your story. And I think a lot of young people can really gain a lot from that too. So thank you. All right, now I'd like to welcome up the band for our musical offering. Please welcome up the band.
Our offering song this time is a very famous wedding song. It's entitled Cherish the Treasure. That means in a relationship, husband and wife, we don't put an if in our relationship. No matter what happened, keep going, okay? So that's the song. It's Cherish the Treasure. Treasure of you, lifelong companion, I give myself to you. God has enabled me to walk with you faithfully and cherish the treasure of you.
As I obey the Spirit's voice and seek to do His will, I then can see the wisdom of His plan. For as He works His will in me, I then can love you selflessly, and by His grace can pledge my love to you.
I cherish the treasure of you, lifelong companion, I give myself to you. God has enabled me to walk with you faithfully and cherish the treasure of you. This sacred vow I make to you does not contain an if, though I'm aware
Thank you, band. So yeah, now I'd like to welcome up for our main message on, as you can probably guess, the conjugal realm of heart, sexual integrity and intimacy. Pastor Naokimi.
Thank you, Ejin. Thank you, band. And thank you for the testimony givers today. Good morning, everyone. Yes. So, first off, Satsuki, thank you for sharing your testimony. I hope you continue to see your husband with a positive light. How lucky you are. And Yasu, great job. I feel like my sermon is done after hearing that testimony. I'm not sure what else I can add. I think he's done better than me in most cases. Anyway, today's topic is really important. It's a hot topic, and I know it's a very personal topic, and that's why, it's a challenge. But, actually, let me get my clicker here. So last week, we talked about conjugal realm of heart, and if you remember, one thing that we talked about what's unique about the conjugal realm of heart. Actually, does anyone remember what was unique about the conjugal realm of heart as opposed to other realms of heart? It's exclusive. Yes, one of the key points compared to the other realms of heart, conjugal realm is meant to be exclusive, means only one person. Okay, your husband and or wife. There are a few more points that was shared that it starts as the only relationship that starts out as a non-blood relationship, but eventually becomes the most strongest relationship. And the third point of what makes conjugal realm of heart unique was? Yes, thank you, Ava. Is you can experience all four realms of heart within that relationship. So it's a very special relationship. Today I want to go into a really kind of a subset of that topic, and that is sexual integrity and intimacy. And I believe that in order to maintain and really have a great conjugal relationship with your spouse, it requires these two things. Okay, it requires integrity and it requires intimacy. So that's what I wanted to explore today, is the importance of integrity, intimacy in life, and ultimately in the bedroom, and how to actually practice that. Not that I've mastered it yet, but at least I can share some tips. So I looked up the definition online. Integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. A second definition is the state of being whole or undivided. Okay, so we're going to touch on this point, but how integrity is so essential in terms of your relationship with your spouse. And then intimacy is close familiarity or friendship. This is also, again, a key component of a great relationship. Now, according to the Bible, there's a verse here I found. It says, "Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous." This is Hebrews chapter 13:4. It may seem obvious, but the fact that it's stated in the Bible shows that it may not have been so obvious back in the day. But the adultery is the number one greatest, violation of the rule of the conjugal realm of heart. It really violates the principle of the exclusivity by having extramarital affairs, right? And I think the reason why the Bible is very strong about this is because they know, God knows, and God's trying to convey to us that in order to really secure the best conjugal and marital relationship, this is so important, to keep integrity in your marriage, especially in the realm of sexuality. Now, part of the challenge with the conjugal realm, and especially having integrity and intimacy, is that our understanding of love in society has a lot of misconceptions, I believe, that are somewhat unprincipled. Okay? So I want to identify 3 key things that are concepts of what love is that I believe are, I wouldn't go as far as saying false, but I would say is misleading. Okay? So we need to understand what the problem is in order to really strengthen our integrity and intimacy in our marital relations. So, first misconception. Actually, all 3 are there. In society, people tend to think that love is really a feeling. Oh, I feel in love with you, right? Also, that you know you're in love based on what it makes you feel. Do you love him? I don't know. How does he make you feel? I guess I love him, or her. And that the solution is you gotta keep looking for the right person that makes you feel that way, right? However, if you believe these misconceptions about love to be true, you will always be disappointed. It's kind of a cruel trick in one sense. Everyone's looking for love in this way, but this way of looking for love guarantees failure. Why? Because according to principle, actually these concepts, what really is love, it's actually quite the opposite. So really what is required of love is that more than a feeling, it starts with commitment. Okay? And more than finding someone that makes me feel good, it's about growing your ability to help others feel loved. And finally, instead of finding the one and constantly searching on this quest, it's really about making the effort to become a person, become the one that can love somebody with integrity and intimacy. Does that make sense? Right? So these are very simple but powerful concepts that have been kind of embedded in society, and I think for the sake of seeking and experiencing true love, we want to practice, the words on the left side more than the right. Now, I didn't say, originally I said versus, one or the other, but it's not black and white. It's actually good to feel in love with each other as a couple, and you should also feel good in that love relationship as well. And you should feel lucky that you found that you're with the person that you're with. However, more than those things, more than feeling good for yourself and feeling lucky, it's about really developing, committing to love your spouse, making sure you're trying to really grow in your love for your partner more than feeling loved by your partner, and making effort. In one sense, by working on those things, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to experience true love in your life. Okay, so that's all great and good, but how do you do that in the bedroom? Well, actually, practice before the bedroom. Oh, that doesn't sound good. So what I mean by practice people think that practice means, oh, I should have multiple sexual experiences before marriage so that I know how to do it, right? But actually, the best preparation for integrity and intimacy with your spouse after you get married is if you practice that before you get married. And what I mean by that is sexual integrity before marriage means that you are committing your sexuality for your one and only future spouse and not other people. In fact, it's the opposite, right? Society says practice as much as you can so you can get good in the bedroom. Actually, by doing that, you're actually practicing infidelity in marriage as well. Does that make sense? Yes. Because you're having multiple relationships, you're testing out if it makes you feel good. You're basically training your body and soul to become self-centered in love. And if your partner doesn't satisfy you at any time or you get into a fight, then guess what? You're gonna be trained to find somebody else, right? So the dating culture is actually very conducive to infidelity and breakups in the future. So it's really important that even before you get married, that you practice sexual integrity. And in terms of intimacy, you know, that one, building your ability to relate with many different people is important. We'll get into the intimacy part in a moment. Trying to remember my train of thought here. Okay, how to practice in the bedroom, right? So in the bedroom, before you get into the bedroom, I think, again, all the preparation beforehand is really important to be able to practice this in the bedroom. So how do you do this in the bedroom? Since I like putting things in bullet points, I have bullet points for you guys to make it simple. Yeah, I like making everything systematic and organized. Okay, so let me give you the answer. Okay, so 3 points. First point is to prioritize spirit over your body or your physical body. Second is prioritize giving over receiving, and third is invite God into the experience. So what does that look like or feel like? What to share? Okay. Okay. So one thing it's happened a few times where I would give my wife a massage. And then when it's gone to a point where when I start to give her a massage, like, she was like, I don't want sex. It's like, wait. I'm just massaging, okay? Don't accuse me before I did anything. But the fact that she reacts that way, she can tell if I'm doing something with expectation of something back, right? So it's very sensitive. Even though she enjoys being massaged, she feels like if it's really has a catch to it, then she's not really receptive. So it's really important. You know, spirit over body is really, it's really about connecting in heart with your partner or being stimulated emotionally more than physically. And as guys, we tend to, be physically stimulated first. So it's an extra challenge, I think. Again, I'm not a girl, so I can't tell, but at least from my experience, we're very easily physically stimulated. But it's so important to try to emotionally and spiritually connect with your partner when getting into the bedroom. So what does that mean? It means actually spending time to to talk, to find out how they're feeling. You know, Yasu gave a beautiful testimony. I don't know if I could have that level of control, but like, you know, even though he wanted to or expected to have sex, he actually prioritized how she was feeling about it. That's amazing. That's putting spirit over physical in terms of really prioritizing that. But interestingly enough, because he did that, he totally won her heart. Felt really understood and connected, and that's what actually creates a very beautiful experience in the bedroom. In the second area, prioritizing giving over receiving. So this is, most men are guilty by default on this one. But it's so much easier to reach orgasm for a guy, I think, than for women. But if you really focus on how do I please my spouse first, then you can have a really beautiful experience, right? But many times, yes, I would say most times I think guys tend to finish first in the bedroom. But we really need to make effort to learn how to make sure our spouses can experience the joy of sexual intimacy before finishing too early. Now, that's easier said than done. I don't know about giving any sex tips here, but one thing I have noticed was by taking time to, actually for me, what I found most is by setting aside time to really spend time together, it really helps with the whole experience. One challenge with me is I'm always busy. So even like intimacy with my wife, I would almost schedule it in my mind. Okay, this is the time I have, about 30 minutes right before morning devotion. You know, like this is like, because I'm really busy, right? But she can tell if I'm rushing things. She's like, don't you have a meeting to go to? This is like in the middle of, you know, anyway. So it's really important that when I actually let go of the time constraints and really take the time to make sure she's feeling really ready, then we end up having a mutually, you know, a great experience. But when I rush it, then yeah, it usually ends up pretty terrible. So anyway, point is giving over receiving. So make sure you're especially the guys, make sure that your partner is really feeling, and you're giving enough time to allow her to feel pleasure before. It doesn't take much for the guys to feel pleasure. So just gotta take the time to do that. And I would say that this begins even before the bedroom. So doing the dishes, cleaning the house, taking out the garbage. But more importantly, like it's almost like the sexual pleasure for the women is really all mostly in the mind. Any concerns or worries actually takes away from that experience. And so it's in one sense, it's a lot of work for the guys. But if you understand that shows that you're really thinking of your partner first, and that's really what allows for her to open up. And the final thing is inviting God into the bedroom. So this, I've tried this several times, but the idea is that even in the midst of really having that, experiencing sexual love with your partner, to really, I would literally think of inviting God to be part of that experience from a mental perspective. I would invite God into that. And it makes it a really holy experience. Sometimes I would even ask God, like, help me keep it up, you know, but it really allows for it to be not just a physical experience, but a divine experience by inviting that. And knowing from our true parents that the sexual love between God, man and woman, is meant to be the most holy experience. Really striving to work to achieving that. So I'm going to end with a quote here. Got it. Somehow it is not working. Okay. I will just read it out for you. Okay. Couples who become one in mind and body and perfect the husband and wife's realm of heart manifest God's joy. So really, as we even engage in that sexual love, if you really see that this is what God wanted, to experience this, really this God-centered love, true intimacy, and integrity means oneness, right? So when husband and wife are one, both in body and spirit, that's actually the greatest resemblance of God. So really, know that when we practice this, it really brings God joy. Okay, and then final, as a tip, this is from the Bible, 1 Corinthians 7:5. Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement for a limited time, that you may devote yourselves to prayer, but then come together again, so that Satan may not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. You know, there's so many, I would say, temptations. You know, just because you're a spiritual leader or just because you got married doesn't mean that you're not vulnerable. Actually, it's everywhere, right? Turn around, advertisement, even Facebook. You can't spend any time on Facebook. There's always ads or like things that tempt you all the time. So it's really important for husband and wives to always make time to be intimate with each other. Because when you deprive each other of that, then it actually allows for, makes it easier for temptation to come in. Again, the best intimacy is really when it's really mutual understanding and agreement is there for that. But just know that this is not something new. This is an age-old challenge. And this is a guidance from the Bible for husbands and wives. Okay. So, to produce or to experience integrity and intimacy in the bedroom, again, prioritize spirit over body, giving over receiving, and invite God into the bedroom. So the reflection question for today is, how can I strengthen my integrity and prepare for true intimacy? How can I strengthen my integrity and prepare for true intimacy? Please take the next 5 minutes to discuss. You can also share what stood out from the message today for you. Okay, 5 minutes. Let's cue the music, and we'll see you back in a few. bring it back. Okay, so if you can hear me, please raise your hand. Okay. And tap a person on the shoulder if they're still talking. All right, thank you. So, anyone want to share one thing that came up for them or one insight from the message today? Oh, this is the challenge now. Oh, sorry. Any thought either on the question or on the message that really stood out for you today? Yes. Please say your name.
My name?
Yes.
Paul Davila. My name is Paul Davila. One thing is, I had to remind myself all the time is the following. True Father always mentioned the following. No matter how many times I saw him, he always talked about Adam and Eve, the following. And that's just one in my head, because as a human being, we have a weakness, huh? And a sexual thing is one of the main problems for everyone. It doesn't matter who we are, where we go, what we do. There's always a temptation, there's always attraction. And then that's the thing I always remind myself. What Lucifer did it to Adam and Eve in the beginning. And that's what I keep in me strong, my integrity, my heart, and my love for my wife. That's right, it doesn't matter how my wife made me upset or not upset, I always embrace her. I always embrace, touch her, everything. And I believe that's the true love. And that makes me to embrace her on intimacy.
All right. Thank you so much for your commitment. Yes. Anyone else? Yes, Yejin.
Okay, so I think, I think hearing this content, it can be a little shocking for young people, especially if we're not prepared to, like, if we're, obviously some may be thinking about like the matching and not haven't been thinking that far ahead yet, but I think it's definitely good to, I think, see it in a like very like intentional light, because I think in the future when you have children and you have that kind of relationship, it's very relevant, and it's good to have at least a little like preview of like what you will be thinking about when you get older. So I don't know, that's how I would frame it for young people to like hear or digest.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, usually we don't talk about this topic too much, but I think it's important to actually talk about it, and especially in a principal perspective. Anyone else? Yes, please state your name.
My name is Michiko Plesky, and so now this world is teaching the free sex from kindergarten. So, but we are so quiet long time, and the second gen is we lose a lot of second gens. This proper education is at the time now, and even if and this Sunday school, Sunday service, still this is God-centered love. This is according divine principle. So we really, that is meaningful time, I really thought. Thank you.
Okay, and I just want to conclude with this thought. I don't want this to come across as like an absolutist kind of judgment on the world. I truly believe that if we practice this, you're going to experience the best sex and best intimacy, because it's secure. And it's not based on, do I look pretty enough, or am I earning enough money, or anyway, there's so many complications that come in relationships, and especially between husband and wife. But if both sides understand that this is what we're striving for and agree to it, then the most important thing of security in that relationship is established. And I think that's something that many of us take for granted, but in most couple relationships, that security is not there. They don't know where the next week they might find somebody else or interact with someone else that might attract them. So it's really important that this is not just about being on a high moral ground. This is really God's intention and desire for you to experience the best love in your life. For you to experience that best love, it requires these things. And although it's not easy, by consciously working towards these things, you will be able to be secure in your love relationship. So with that, thank you again for coming today, and I hope you were able to receive something. Thank you so much.
All right. Now let's move on to our tithing message given by Aunt Ava Clark. If you'd like to come up. Yes.
Good morning. Still morning, yay. I think all these testimonies are always scary for like timekeeping purposes, right? So, So I was asked to share about why I tithe to the local church. So first I want to recognize this awesome local church. I really appreciate Pastor Naokimi. I recently had an opportunity to experience firsthand how sensitive and wise he is, and how good he is at listening. So I appreciate Pastor Naokimi, and I appreciate Pastor Takino, Namiko-san. Pastor Takino definitely has, if I ever had concepts about what a Japanese brother, husband, father was or would be, Pastor Takino would have blown them all, because he really is a growing, beautiful human being. So yes. And finally, and I'm not going to take all my time appreciating people, also Mrs. Endo. Mrs. Endo has a heart of gold. So this will tie in eventually, you'll see. So there are two Bible verses about tithing that most people know if they've been to visiting churches. So one is, Jesus saying, where your treasure is, there your heart will be. And the other one is the famous Malachi one. And I'm going to paraphrase and use slightly different language. So the question is, will a man rob God? And then the people go, what do you mean, rob God? How have we robbed you? And he said, well, you haven't been bringing your tithes. But then he says, try me and see if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that you can't even receive. So, yeah. So tithing is not just us. It's really a time-honored spiritual practice. And even financial gurus will say, give 10%, save 10%, live on 80, right? So for me, tithing is just one of many good habits. And I honestly believe that it gives God an opportunity or more foundation to protect protect things that might affect us financially. And it's funny because I was thinking about this, I can't prove this because I don't want to not tithe to see if suddenly misery befalls me and my family. Likewise, I don't want to stop exercising and stop taking my supplements and eat healthy just to see if I feel worse. Because actually, I do believe these habits are really good for us, and also God is the author of win-win. Honestly, whatever God says for us to do, it's always good for us. I mean, God is a parent of love, and it's really, yeah, you don't lose. I mean, it's like even what Pastor Naokimi shared about how to love your spouse, right? You will be happy there doing, quote unquote, the right thing, right? So there's no, you don't like do what God asked you to do and now your life got worse. It really, God is the author of win-win. And finally, why I tied to the local church. I mean, can you imagine Pastor Naokimi and Pastor Takino and Erica-san misusing your money? I cannot. And even, the other thing is, tithing is for me. It's my relationship with God and a healthy kind of relationship with money. And it actually wouldn't even matter in terms of God blessing me if they screwed up in how they used their money. So again, that is why I tied to my local church. Thank you.
Thank you. So many reasons. They just kept coming. Okay. So now I'd like to welcome up the band for our closing song. And this is a time where everyone can offer their tithe now. And so I'd like to invite everyone to come to the front and offer if you'd like. And also afterwards, there's always fellowship downstairs. We have food, so feel free. And yes, so please feel free to offer your tithe.
Let's all sing Angels Gather at High. Let's feel the spirit of Christmas. Here we go. Sweetly singing on the plains and
Pastor Takino for benediction.
Please join me in prayers. God, Heavenly Parent, our true parents, we truly gratitude. You always love us. And true parents, we truly appreciate you sharing God is living God. That's why we believe 24 hours, 7 days, 364 days a year, every day, you are with me. No matter that was the daytime, nighttime, bedtime. We always like to live with you. Today, God, we feel again, children, I want to give you love, and I want you to feel love. That's why you create this universe. That's why you create us. Then you bless us, be fruitful, multiply, have a dominion. Especially, you prepared men and women, twin, together, living eternally. One pair system. That is your principle, pair system, giving and taking. That is a true love. Heavenly parents, many times, many years, because we lost parents, we don't know what the true meaning of the pair system. And unfortunately, we see many broken families, broken relationships in this world. Even we know family is the building blocks of the kingdom of heaven. And if we have a true family, true peace in the family, we can create the heaven. But in this world, we see many trouble in couple relationship, parent and children relationship, and brother and sister relationship. That's why true parents came and they sharing what is a true, why true parents call true love. We want to be true. And we don't want to hide anything in front of you, God, like Adam and Eve hiding from you. We want to open everything in front of you, God. That's why we joined to this church, because we believe true parents open everything. That is a high noon, no shadow. Today, we offer, this is our sincere devotion. God, please accept this offering. And next 1 week, we will do our best to love. Then we like to come back here and we offer again. And thank you, God. You give us such a wonderful truth and love. And we will practice this 1 week. Love each other. I pray report this. My name, Atsushi and Namiko Takino, Blessed Central Family. Adieu.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today's Sunday service. So a couple announcements. So we want to actually recommend people to pray in Chunshimon after service. And this can be every Sunday, too, not just today. It's quite the experience, so you should try it out if you haven't. I also like to remind parents, please pick up your children from Sunday school. Don't forget your children. Yeah, I hope I don't have to say that in the future. Okay, so also One World Peace Association has a table downstairs and they're selling paintings. So if you're interested, you can go over and check them out and support them. And there's also new membership orientation in the Lilac Room from 12:30, so be there as well. So also after this service, there'll be a wedding ceremony here in the chapel. So people need to clear out quickly. It's not an open invitation, it's invite only. So please don't come if you're not invited. And reservation is 12:30. So yeah, it'd be nice if we can swiftly get out of here. And yeah, but anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, we'll see you downstairs.